Okay, I'm back again. My apologies for that. I actually think I need new storage space because my memory card is definitely full. And may God provide. May God provide. Okay, I don't know what that was all about, but hey, let's get back into this world, guys. So, like I said, a husband would rather be out there doing his own thing than to be in a home with a quarrelsome wife. And God has me watching this series, from Turkey. It's a Turkey series where the title of the series is Istanbul Wife of Istanbul. Yes, Wife of Istanbul. And this series is so raw and so real, and it shows everything from, and mind you, by the way, women, most of them, I guess, from Turkey, or at least that's what they put out in the movies and the series, from Turkey, they like to be quarrelsome. That's what they show, at least, but not that they do not love their husbands. Obviously, I'm talking about women in the series, please. Um, these women are so quarrelsome, you know, towards their husbands, and sometimes they would rather be out there, you know, than to be at home with a quarrelsome wife. Um, and there's one in particular. Her name is Ipek. She plays the role of Ipek, who recently got a baby, and she is so quarrelsome. And then yesterday, God was revealing to me that this is why I'm working on you, Juniala. I do not want you to be a quarrelsome wife towards your husband. I don't want to put you to shame. I want your husband to be proud of the fact that I blessed you. I blessed him with you. I want you to represent me well in the marriage. And I want the two of you to be a kingdom couple, to be encouraging to the rest of them, to help them to believe that love really does exist and it is out there in the world. We just need to wait for it. We just need to wait on God to bring our people around, our person around. And it sure is gonna be beautiful. It will be sweet love, you know. So it's gonna be a love worth waiting for. So I just figured I shared that. So God does not want us to be quarrelsome. He does not want us to be angry. He does not want to put us to shame. He wants to give us the hearts of our desires, but he has to prepare us first. He has to heal our hearts and soul. He has to break down the walls that the enemy, he has to break down the walls of lies that the enemy has made us believe in, and he needs to replace it with his truth. And obviously some of these lies that the devil has put up into our life is the feeling of worthlessness, the feeling of failure, the feeling of inadequateness, insignificance. All of these lies, God needs to break them down. And it's like, you know, when you go through trauma as a young child, and God, as you grow up and as you find God, as he finds you, God always finds us in the most appropriate time. His timing is always impeccable. It's always right. He he lets us know. He. It's like he reveals things to us, things that are lies, and he needs to put his truth in us. And it could be that we've gone through abuse, and that trauma has made us believe that we're not worth love because we feel dirty, we feel afraid to love, we feel unworthy, so now the God's love comes in, God's perfect love comes in, and his truth just what's the word, it engulfs us, and then it just helps us to believe in what is truth rather than what is a lie. And so it is very important to remain. The pruning is imperative. It is very imperative. The period of isolation, the period of darkness and dryness, that is very important, because it's in the secret place. It's in that place where God will have you spend time with him, where he will have you pray, fast, worship, and just be soaking in tears and just, seeking his face, just so that he can reveal all of these things to you, So it is very important to remain at the foot of the throne of your Father, of our Father, who is in heaven, to remain in that secret place with him. For there, in the secret place, there is healing. There is healing there. There is clarity there. There is true love. There is true joy. There is true peace. And he reveals in that place, in that secret place, he reveals the secrets, his deepest secrets, and the mysteries needed to unlock the next phase of our season in our lives. So we need to allow him to prune us. We need to allow him to be King and Lord over our lives. We need to be obedient to his voice. At times we may look foolish for the choices we make in this life. We may look very foolish, very stupid for being in the waiting season, for being in the dry season, for choosing to wait on God, for choosing to obey God. We look foolish and stupid to people, because rather than being obedient, they would choose to, when God says do not take that job, they would take it. Why? Because money. Rather than being obedient to their husbands, when their husband says, or when God says do not travel, I know why, they would travel anyway. Why? Because not only do they have the money, that they do not need God's opinion, they want to satisfy their desires, So it's very important to let God be King of our lives. He is the owner of our lives, after all. They may say you could have a good life like they do. They may insult you, they may mock you, they may laugh at you, not knowing that God is actually planting you. He is working on your roots, that they may be steadfast and strong in the time of war, when you need to fight against whatever it is that you need to fight with. God builds from ground up. He builds from ground up. He needs to steady your roots. He needs to steady the wall. Like a wise A foolish man builds his house on sand, and the sea or the wind comes and just blows it away. But a wise man builds his house on the rock, and the rock which is Christ, the Almighty God. And so with time, when you show obedience to God, God will reveal to you why He would rather have you invest in your spiritual growth first, why He has you working on healing your mind, your heart, and your soul, while He has you in that secret place with Him. He had to isolate you. First of all, I'd say for 3 reasons. There may be more, but these are my opinions, basically. And this is part of what Apostle Aroma Sayer actually also shared as well. He will isolate you first of all because you are a peculiar people. You are a peculiar people set apart for God. For His great calling and for His great work. We need to focus where our heart is, our treasures also will be. God says we need to put our focus on the things of heaven and not on earth. Here, the life here on earth is temporary. I once saw a post where this pastor was actually showed a scenario of a rope. He took out a rope and then he was like, your lifespan here on earth, it's like here's the rope, né? But your lifespan here on earth is that's how short it is, and then eternity is forever. So where would you rather want your treasures to be? Is it here on earth, which is where everything is temporary, or in heaven where it is eternal? Heaven is where it's at. Okay, heaven is where it's at. You are a peculiar people set apart for His great calling, His great work. Secondly, that you may know that the life of a man does not consist of the possessions that he has. And that is so true. That is so true. He may have revealed these things to you. Like he could have revealed these things to you through His word or through just a message, by using someone to just tell you, who may have observed your life, and then they tell you that this and this and this and this. But rather, there are those times where God allows us to go through experiences, so that we can go through these things by ourselves. But rather, He has you living and walking in the testing and in the pruning, because a lesson, if a lesson has not touched your heart, it will not change your life. Okay, it will not change your life. We need to go through things in order to understand. In order to be prepared, in order to understand why we go through things and why we had to go through it. Like I said, for growth, for steadfastness. Okay. And also for sharing testimony, like to share testimony as to how you came out of something. There's a lot of things that God wants me to share, but in his own timing, He'll definitely allow me to do that. So, thirdly, to know that the time of serving God superficially has come to an end. He needs people who will submit, who will conveniently submit to the authority of the Master, the King and the owner of your life. Who is the owner of your life? If God cannot exercise His authority on your life, we cannot accomplish His divine purpose in. He cannot accomplish His divine purpose for your life. May we give Him the liberty. May we give God the liberty to do so, and may we align to His will for your life. Okay, let me just see if I can remember this as well. It may be a process indeed, but yeah. My apologies. Let me just rephrase that. May we give God the liberty to do so. May we give God to have authority over our lives. Okay. May we align to His will. It may be a process, but it is necessary. It is necessary. Maturity helps us to walk in the ways God has for us. May God help us open our eyes. May God open our eyes so that we may see. Okay, just like Elijah asked God to open the eyes of Joshua so that he may see that he was not alone and that he had legions of angels willing to help him in the war that is about to take place. That was to take place. Yeah. So may we know that this is not about us, guys, folks. This is not about us. We are to do the will of God for the glory of God. We are to do all things for the glory of God. It is about Him and the people He wants us to serve and to reach out to preach His word, whether it is to heal